yellow apron asking.
What are they doing?
I have no idea. I don't know who they. I thought they were because on the hat it said Moss or whatever.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about? Oh, is it the Masonic Lodge or whatever?
where
Watchtower.
were they at?
Oh,
Can you hear
have
you?
we begun?
Huh? No.
Oh, I can. Yeah, I can hear me. Oh,
All right. Where are you talking about?
It was right in downtown.
By the
Cleveland.
courthouse?
There were guys by the courthouse, but they were like on every street corner that I was going through. They were everywhere.
That's so they had the cylinder shaped
Yes,
hats.
They're wearing the cylinders with the tassels.
like the Shriners.
Is that what they are? Shriners? Just a local Cleveland cult or whatever? I don't know.
Well, the Masonic Lodge was right across the street. It's funny because it sounds like a lot of money, but this place was huge.
Yeah.
Like 5,000 square feet,
Really?
maybe more than that. And it was $500,000 in downtown Cleveland, like right across the street from the
Masonic
courthouse.
Lodge or whatever?
Yes. And
Wow.
it's a cool building, right? And there's people that have been buying old buildings down there, and the upstairs is their house.
Yeah.
So
That's not a bad deal.
oh my
Thinking
gosh,
about
it's huge. And Leslie was like, "No, we're not buying that." I was like, "Hey, we could sell our house,
Yeah.
and buy that, and then just because there's no place to park. Where are we going to
That's
take the
true.
dogs?
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's
Yeah.
It's a 2-story? Because you can like
It's
live up top and have like a
it's
business
2-story
down low.
with access to the roof,
Roof X.
like that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly like that.
Those are Shriners.
Shriners.
And I don't know. I think they're
Do they like fund building shrines?
they do all.
Shriners?
Let's see. Shriners International is recognizable for its Middle Eastern inspired iconic.
So like
I don't know what they do.
I do see
Besides
that,
raise money.
like the Middle Eastern, like an Arabian influence in like the
Yes.
the way that they do their just the way that the hat looked itself in the apron. Mashallah.
One of the
whatever.
Google searches, you know how it gives you the suggestions or
Yeah.
whatever. One of them says Shriners are weird.
Word.
I don't know what that is. I'm like that's the Google search.
Yeah.
That's not asking a question. It's Shriners are weird.
That's Google's answer. No, they're weird. That's all I got.
You mind if I start out with prayer?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Father God, we thank you so much for this time together. Thank you for Tyler for coming out and visiting. We pray, Lord, that you would be glorified in this conversation with what you've done in his life and mine. And we pray, Lord, for a good conversation and just a good, what's the word, Tyler?
Podcast?
No, fellowship. Sorry. All right. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right, man. So I'm a little bit scatterbrained, to be honest, because last week, I've been going to that functional doctor.
Okay.
All right. I didn't know if you knew that, but like since April, same one that Maddie goes to.
Yeah.
So last week, she says she wants me to go on this 5-day, it's called a Mimic Fast. Have you ever heard of that? Mm-mm. So basically, they give you the nutrients, but it mimics a water fast. So like it's low carb, low protein, but it gives you like the supplements and stuff like that. And to do it, she had to. It's a video visit with the doctor,
Like FaceTime?
yes, and she has to get a recording of you basically giving approval to do it. So it's like a waiver to do this this 5-day fast.
Yeah.
Well, it's no caffeine,
Nothing.
That's
Is it just water and
no? That's the
nutrients,
weird
or-
part. So, like this morning, it was a smoothie with 4 strawberries. It's very specific.
Yeah.
4 strawberries, a tablespoon of almond butter,
Ooh.
some coconut shreds,
Okay.
and water. That's it.
It doesn't sound terrible, but if it's like 5 days and that's it.
It's 5 days. Well, and then for lunch, 15 olives.
15 olives?
Yes.
This sounds weird.
Well, I looked it up this
Yeah.
morning. So it's like some guy out of UC Berkeley.
15 olives.
It's very new. Like this year, that's when this article came out. And I
Yeah.
guess that she's researching it. And supposedly it lowers your metabolic age by like, because they've done a study with, I don't know how many hundreds of people, but it lowers your metabolic age by like 3 years on average.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And what do they say like what the 15 olives do? Is that just for the whole
That's
day?
just for the fat.
Okay, so 15
So
olives
it's
for
like
the whole
5
day.
days. No, I didn't realize it at the time, but there's no meat. right? Mm-hmm. And I guess it's just to give you all the nutrients that you need,
Yeah.
but not anything that, I don't know. The way they explain it is basically to get people to do a fast. It's almost like a water fast,
So it's
but
like walking you into it. Kinda.
yeah. So like yesterday, it was a little bit more, and they have these, and they're not trying to sell this. They just give you recommendations. There's some flax crackers that you can have with soup.
Yeah.
That's what's for dinner. Mm-hmm. So you eat the flax crackers, and basically that's what fills you up.
Yeah.
Is the flax crackers, and they are not very good.
No, that doesn't sound good. Flax doesn't sound great,
But well, in the soup, they're not bad.
Yeah.
So you reminded me when you sent that text that you're a little short on funds and gas, right? So Leslie says he sounds like he's doing to Emma what you did with me.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's that? So whenever me and Leslie got married, or when we got together,
Yeah.
dude, I was getting her flowers every week.
Mm-hmm. I'm just taking her like out all the time,
Yep.
getting food,
Yep.
And I'm not complaining. I love doing that,
Yeah.
obviously because it's my girlfriend and everything. But like, I'm just like, okay, because we were talking about it last night, and I was like, I need to be more responsible with my funds, So I'm like, I'm gonna have to pull on the reins just a little bit,
You told her that?
Yeah, I told her.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I never had that conversation. You're smarter than me.
I did. Yeah, I did because I was like, if I just do that, then she's gonna think something's wrong. So I'm just gonna catch it on the front end and be like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I got to do. Don't think anything's going on, like I'm like losing interest or anything like that.
See,
It's
I was
just
worried.
like-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was worried about the same thing.
Yeah, because I just wanted
Yes.
to make sure I had that conversation with her. So then, and I was like, okay, you've heard me say this. So if it starts getting you in your head, just tell me, and then I'll remind you again. Hey, this
Yeah,
is just a
this
fun
is
thing. It's
yeah.
me being responsible with my funds right now. That's it. That's all it is. So, but then as I was driving out here, I was like, I should have just brought it with me because then like we'd get to hang out here and everything, and then afterward go and like walk around like downtown, not have to spend any money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like that would have just been a lot of fun.
Well, you can always bring her back down.
That's true. I'm sure I'll be back.
It is
out
pretty
here
cool
again.
because there are a lot of. There's one place there. I actually like what I was talking about. This guy bought a building, and he put his house up on top of it. It was in a magazine. It was really cool.
Yeah.
And he put a root beer bar underneath it where there's like root beer from all over the world in there. And it's kind of cool. I've been in there a couple times. And then there's like a candy shop around there. In October, Cleveland's actually got quite a bit of stuff. They got like a wine festival coming up in October. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Sounds pretty sweet.
I had my mind on something, and then the water fast kicked in.
See, I used to do intermittent fasting, quite a bit, but I haven't done it in a while. And that mixed with driving around all the time for work, like I think I told you I clock like 200 miles a day, just because the area I work in so large, But like I used to do intermittent fasting to kind of counteract the sitting down all day because I'll still eat, But then like I started packing on a little bit, and it's like I need to get into fasting and running.
Well, you're
you know
still
what I mean?
eating. You're eating.
I'm eating the same amount as if I was bulking, and then I'm just like driving,
snacking.
Yeah, snacking, yeah, and then like driving like 200 miles a day, just like sitting down.
Well, do they give you mileage though, or no? No. Have you asked? Are you scared?
I just haven't even thought about it.
Oh, really?
No.
I wonder if it's one of those deals where they don't realize that they're not giving you mileage.
It might be, and then if I bring it up, yeah, I'll bring it up. I'll ask Todd, like, hey, you know what I mean?
Because we get mileage.
Yeah.
For our personal vehicles, we have to go out of town and stuff.
Yeah, thankfully, like I'm driving the company vehicle, so
Oh.
that's probably why I'm not getting like.
You
mileage.
driving a company vehicle.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're getting the gas?
Yeah, I have a gas card.
I'm getting all deep into your business here.
Yeah, I don't care.
You have a gas card?
Yeah, I have a gas card.
Oh, okay. I got you.
They treat me pretty well there. I'm just complaining like a queen right now is what I'm doing. I get paid well. I got a gas card. You know,
that's what I was doing. I was buying her flowers all the time.
Yeah.
And I mean all the time, and taking her out to eat to nice places. And I wasn't meant jack, right? So we got married a year later, and I decided to wait till we got married to have that conversation. It's like, hey, all that nice stuff I've been buying
Yeah, I
you
gotta
and
stop.
everything else. And
Yeah.
Okay. We're broke. Matter of fact, I have about $10,000 in credit card debt. So
and it's your fault.
So we have to stop. Matter of fact, what's your interest rate on your car? Because we're going to have to figure something out on that. So yeah, we were struggling for years and years. Yeah, because when I met her, I had a couch. The kids had their own furniture in their room, and I had a mattress.
Nice.
That's
all you need.
That was all I needed. Yes.
Just a real man's place,
Yes. No, it wasn't a man's place. It was a broke man's place.
A broke man's place.
Yeah, it was broke. It was broke.
Yeah.
I do appreciate you making the trip though, because
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm very excited.
So this is the first one I've done at home.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Where have you been doing them? Like just meeting people and bringing all the equipment?
Yes, and it's very difficult. And one of the it's frustrating, but it's kind of funny at the same time. So the first guy I talked to, I was like, hey, as long as you have a quiet room. He goes, hey, my wife's not going to be home. It's great. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, cool. And I go and set up, and I get in there, have everything set up, we start recording. His phone goes off.
Yeah.
Right? Or my husband, I need to turn my phone off.
And make sure I got mine off. The ringing.
His phone goes off, which isn't a big deal, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. So we're like 30 minutes into it, and right behind him, like over his right shoulder, facing me like 10 feet away, is like a cuckoo clock. And I'm freaking out the whole time. I was like, man, I hope that thing doesn't work. It's 7 o'clock, man. Cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. And you can hear it in the background.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he can hear it or not, but I'm like sitting there, I'm not going to be able to edit that out.
Yeah, no. It adds to the experience, the ambiance.
The second time, I told this different guy that story. I was like, hey, as long as you got a quiet room, it'll work. He goes, man, nobody's home. I'm like, all right, cool. Get over there. The fire alarms start chirping. So cool. I catch myself trying to time them.
Yeah.
So that way I can edit it out, you know? And that's terrible.
Or just cough in the middle. So,
so
just a quiet.
Yeah. So now I know that this is a quiet room. Now watch.
Oh, yeah.
Maddie's going to walk in a little bit, and the dogs are going to start barking. So
Yeah. It might catch it up. We'll just add to the experience,
Well, I worry about it, and then I started listening to other podcasts. Like I heard, you know who Mike Rowe is?
Yeah.
Dirty Jobs
guy.
Mm-hmm. I heard him doing one the other day, and he did it from a broom closet inside of a garage. And you can hear engines running in the background. It's like, I guess people really care.
Yeah, no, it just adds to the ambiance of the episode.
Maybe I should have dogs barking in the background.
Just bring them in here. Let them go off.
Yeah. So enough about that. So I've known you for how many years? It's been 3?
3 years, I think.
Kind of know your story, but not really.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things. I asked you if you wanted to talk about it, and you're cool with it, which I appreciate. I don't know the full story. Yeah. Right. And I do know it's tragic but interesting, and God redeemed you.
Absolutely.
That, right. So first off, because every time I talk to you, you talk about somebody from a different state. Right here. Where are you originally from?
So I'm originally from Flint, Michigan.
Oh my gosh! See, I don't think you've ever even mentioned Michigan.
Really?
Yes.
Really? I guess I just haven't even thought about it. Yeah. I was raised there only till I was 11, and then we moved down to Texas because my mom wanted to be closer to family after my dad passed away. And
so, what were y'all in Michigan for? Was that where your dad's family was?
Yeah, that's where he lived and everything. So I lived there till I was 11, and then he passed away when I was 7 years old. So we stayed there from 7 to 11. Living in this house that they had bought. I mean, it was a nice house. It just wasn't on a great street, we lived right across the street from a guy. I think he was growing weed in his basement or something like that, and he was dealing and everything. And anything that I remember happening on that street usually happened at the house directly across from us. One thing that I think about a lot is there was one time I was playing in my room, and my room was facing out toward the front yard, one of the windows. And I look across the street, and one of those what is it, a Crown Vic rolls up, and two people in office attire get out, but they draw their weapons and they're banging on the front door. And then the guy...
They're wearing like suits?
Yeah, so they're like investigators. Like, I think from like, I don't know.
Or they look the part.
Yeah, they looked the part. They're definitely like police and everything. And then he took off around the back of the house on like a 4-wheeler and up the street, and then he was gone. We didn't see him for like 4 months, something like that. And then he came back.
That was the guy that was growing weed?
Yeah. And it was like, that guy was like very... I don't know why, but I think about that guy a lot. I think because of how much like he scared me when I was little, because like having that happen, and then we could hear him like abusing his wife like from across the street inside their house, and my mom called the cops on them multiple times because that was happening, and like they had this daughter Elizabeth, and she would always just be wandering the street like barefoot.
How old?
She was like our age. She was like at that time like 6, 7, 8 years old, And she's like always like covered in dirt and everything, and just like wandering, and like we would like hang out with her, And I remember there was one time like me and her and Chase were hanging out in like the backyard, and I like told her about Jesus, We were just sitting in the backyard, and I was like 6 I think it was after my dad passed away. I was like 7 or 8 years old, and like just telling her about Jesus, And I was like, oh, that's so cool. I got to like do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It is cool.
And I don't know like where she's at now, But like, I don't know. I thought it was like really cool to be able to do that. But just like the things that like just Elizabeth herself probably like went through is like, you know what I mean? Like seeing her dad like abuse her mom every day,
Yeah.
And then like, so their son was dating the daughter of our neighbor to our left, who was a police officer. The man was, but she was buying from the guy across the street. And there was another time we were driving home, and it was just me, my mom, Chase, and Macy. My dad was gone by that point, and we're driving down. It's at night, and there's all these people. I just see silhouettes like walking up the street, like a lot of people. And I'm immediately like terrified, And we get closer, and it's police officers. And that the father had his daughter in cuffs because she was like buying like, drugs and everything from that guy. And I guess like she got caught doing that. But just like seeing stuff like that happen was like, whoa, you know what I mean?
And that was pretty common.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like that was pretty common, There was another guy but there was like a lot of good people on that street, like to our right. My one of our childhood friends, his name was Cameron. His grandparents lived in that house, and they had like a pool, and they would always invite us over to like go hang out at the pool and everything. And we hang out with Cameron, and his parents were awesome. Like we'd go up the street to hang out with them, like spend the night, stuff like that. We'd go hang out with them at like their church, So they're like a lot of good people. Even the people directly across the street from us, like they had a 16-year-old son named Ryan, who would he had a 4-wheeler, and he would like come over with his 4-wheeler and drive us around in the backyard of this 4-wheeler, and we'd go over to his house and play PS2, And then Tony had a dirt bike, and there were some times that Tony, to our left, the guy to our left, would take us like in the backwoods. He was like 16, 17 years old, and just be flying down the trails on his dirt bike, and we'd get to go with him. So yeah, there was a lot of like good memories off of that too.
So you said that you brought up God and church and stuff. So your dad raised y'all up in church.
Yeah. So the church that we went to, like I grew up in a Christian family, and the church that we went to in Michigan was Twin Cities Baptist Church. And it was, from what I remember and what I've been told, because I was very little when we went there, it was like very legalistic, like you smoke, you drink, you get tattoos, you go to the movies, you're going to hell. Like if you do these things, you're going to hell, and that's it, So just kind of grew up in a church like that. But like looking back, I don't like remember that like affecting me a whole lot, But I do remember some instances like. There was one big instance that happened after my dad passed away, that the deacons told my family that my dad passed away because of unconfessed sin in our lives. And so God took our dad from us, just like on like that level of like, I guess, legalism, So it was like...
Or heresy.
That as well.
Or the other,
yeah. But like, just like that level of things like happening, And it was like... The last time I remember like going to that church, there was like this big fight during a sermon, not like a physical brawl or anything, but I remember just people standing up and like yelling at each other. And then our family friends, the Karcheskis, We called him Judja. He was the grandfather of the Karcheski family. He was up on the stage and he dismissed everybody, and so we all left and everything like that. But I guess from what I've been told, it was like there was a split happening in the church, and like that's why there's a big fight and everything.
Whoa. It's all right. It won't pick it up.
Okay.
Yeah. These mics pick up a lot, but
it won't get that. Okay.
It won't get
because they're like echo.
It'll be like a little. Yeah,
like,
it's weird. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I just threw myself off by doing that. But
a big split in the church.
Yeah, big split in the church, and I guess someone told me this. I didn't see this, but I guess somebody brought a gun to defend the faith.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I know.
That's extreme.
And I was like, oh, that's crazy, you know. But then like looking back, I don't like remember seeing a ton, you know, because I guess I was more.
Was your dad like that though, or is it just like
no? We went to the movies. The reason we went to that church was because my grandfather was going to that church, and he wanted the rest of the family to go to that church, you know.
All right.
So we did, and then we just didn't.
So obviously now you're going to hell because you have.
I have tattoos. I've smoked. I've drank. Yeah, and I've seen a lot of movies. We watched a movie last night. Actually,
I'm just going to a different level of hell because I don't have any tattoos.
Yes,
Leslie's going to be lower than me because she got a new tattoo the other day.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
What is it?
Her and Maddie went and got 2 hearts on their wrist.
Cool.
Like one of them's filled in, and on Maddie's the other one. So isn't that
cool.
Cute?
Yeah.
So it was like they were like, "Hey, we can do 3 hearts." I was like, "I'm not putting 3 hearts on my wrist." I appreciate that.
You should.
I get made fun of
right there on your neck, just like 3 hearts. You just get a heart as a teardrop.
Yeah. So you remind me of like I had a friend like his parents were like that growing up because probably when I was around your same I was in junior high.
Yeah.
And you start going to the dances and stuff, and he can never go to the dances. His parents were extreme, right? Like I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this, but at 13, I'm not around super religious people at all in my family, and the parents come in and pray with us before we go to sleep at night, and I'm like, weird to me, but. Now I'm like, okay, I still wouldn't do that, but you don't want to scare somebody away.
Yeah.
But I remember it was funny, not funny, but I lost touch with this kid, and then a couple years later we meet back up, kind of become close friends again.
Yeah.
I go to his dad's house. He's like, we're going to my dad's house. I'm like, all right. Well, his dad was like had been having an affair, like me and this kid at this point are old enough to go to strip clubs and stuff like that. And his dad was like giving him money. I'm like, whoa,
that's crazy.
This changed hands.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, what a 180, you know?
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep stuff from my parents, and he's going over to his dad.
And his parents are pushing him into it. That's wild.
Well, not his mom wasn't. His dad was.
Yeah.
It was very odd. I was like, hey, just a few years ago, you wouldn't let him go to a dance. Now he's going to go watch strippers.
Because you gave him money to do it. That's crazy.
It is. That's So that legalism didn't stick. I guess.
No.
So you're in Flint. Why? Because your grandfather's there. What did your dad do for a living?
So he worked at a place called King Steel, and he like sold metal and everything. Like he sold steel to like factories or something.
For the automotive?
I don't know exactly.
Because that was the big headquarters. Well, I don't know if it still is.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting you're a lot younger than me. Used to Flint was where GM, Ford.
Yeah, so my grandfather worked at GM and he retired from but I don't know if I'm sure my dad like sold metal to GM and like other places, but his main occupation was like selling steel, you know. And I remember like we were pretty like well off, you know what I mean? I don't remember like struggling really when he was like around, you know. And like I remember like going to like St. Louis whenever he would go like on a business trip or something, like in St. Louis, we would go and visit him sometimes, get to stay in like, from what I remember, a nice like suite, kind of like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like getting to go there and then getting to like go check out like the warehouse where he was like visiting with people and like making sales or something like that. So just like a lot of like good, and like going to like see the Detroit Tigers play like a decent amount, you know what I mean? Just like doing a lot of like father-son stuff, that I remember and like hanging out. Like there's one time
you got good memories of your dad.
Absolutely. I have amazing memories with my dad, which is like, yeah, I definitely hold on to those. And sometimes I remember like growing up, because like when he passed away, like I already elevated him, but then he was gone. So it was like the like a little kid's mind elevates him even higher. And then as you grow up, because you're not that like, he's already gone, so you don't really get to see him as a human, and like get that kind of like reality check that like, hey, dad is a man and has his own struggles as well. I didn't get to see that, so I still had him at like this elevated
there's certain
position. Conversations
he couldn't have with you at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. And
so that is interesting how you say that, because that's one of the reasons that that's probably the only reason I wanted to start doing this. Was whenever I was growing up, my grandfather passed away when I was very young. Didn't get really a good chance to know him. Yeah. And stuff like that. Well, now I got grandkids. Yeah. You're not guaranteed tomorrow, right? Absolutely. So, like, I just wanted to leave something to where, hey, what was Grandpa like? Or Bumpy? What was Bumpy like, right? So, and there's not really anything out there like that. Yeah. Because, you can write it down into stuff like that, which I'm not very good at. Yeah, same. I'm not very good at talking about myself. Yeah, I'm good with conversation, I think. But other than, home videos where like somebody's blowing out a birthday cake or something, there's nothing. Yeah. And I think that's a shame. Like you would probably like it if you had some kind of recording like this. Hey, how did your dad? Yeah. What did he hear him like have a conversation and everything, and like work out his own thoughts and everything. Yeah. Because I do have like I don't know. I think my mom has them somewhere, but like recordings, like they took a lot of videos and pictures. Yeah, they did a lot of that. So I was like, I do have a lot of that stuff, but I don't I didn't like get to like really know them because I was so young. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's definitely like a cool thing to be able to do. He passed away when you were 11.
No, right? 7.
7. Y'all moved here when you were 11.
Yeah, moved from Michigan to Wiley, Texas when I was around 11 years old. Okay. And like when we got there, we stayed with my aunt and uncle on my dad's side, my aunt Michelle, my uncle Lance, and my cousins and everything. And they're like they're like the family that we are the closest to,
Oh, like, is that where y'all were at the other day? No, you went to Forney.
Yeah, we were with them.
Okay.
Yeah, all of them over there. All right. So Emma got to meet everybody, and she like meshed really well with everyone. So I was like,
well, I don't know how she wouldn't. Cool. I've never seen her without a smile and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. She's very like just a joyous person, and like getting to like know her and see like, oh, like no, she's actually like that.
Yeah.
Like
I don't see you guys getting in an argument.
No. Well, I mean, it's only been like a little over 2 months,
You but I don't see. But me and Leslie have really never had disagreements, but not like full blown arguments. Yeah, she won't argue anyway because she'll just walk out.
Just leave.
She walked out a lot while we were building this house.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I believe. I started building the house,
especially those stairs. I'm like, I was the one that put those stairs together. And
really?
It was super frustrating.
Yeah.
Start throwing tools and stuff. She just like scurries off. Like, all right, I got to go.
Yeah.
And then Maddie said, I've never heard words like that come out of your mouth, man. Like, sorry about that.
Very frustrating. That's another thing. I was thinking about this while I was pulling up because recently I went on a fishing trip with like my closest friends, and like I brought my Bible and everything. Like the first night that we're there, like we got to talking just about like the Bible, and like they were talking about what was it? We got into talking about like just I think my buddy Skylar was talking about like a verse that he relates to the most, and then like I just kind of I brought my Bible with me, so I just brought it out, and I was like, this is one. It was Hebrews 4:15 and 16. It's talking about Jesus as the great high priest and how he's not like unable to sympathize with our weaknesses and everything, and that we can boldly approach the throne of grace, So I got to like share that with them and everything, and like, but it was like what I struggle with is like my mouth, Oh yeah. Especially when I'm like with my friends, you know. Like that's something that I was like, oh, dude, I like suck at this. Like being like a representative of Christ was difficult, like with my mouth, because like I'm just like I was swearing, I was just like, what am I doing? And I was like convicted every single day.
You get used to being around other guys.
And I was just like, dude, like
I know whenever I let it slip out, because everybody at work kind of like looks at me weird. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, yeah, y'all never me say that.
Yeah. And but it's like it like really like on the drive back, because like driving back it was like 8-9 hours. I was just like thinking about that, and I was like, dude, you really suck at this. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking like, what if Emma heard you say these things? You know what I mean? Like she'd be like, what are you doing, bro? You know what I mean? But it was just something I was like really convicted about. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, that's good. You were convicted. I think I hit my thumb with a hammer one time.
That'll do it.
No, I was like, and then I told Leslie, I have arrived.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was the kind where you lose the fingernail. Like
Yeah. Like it was
2
like
weeks
turning
later,
black.
yeah.
Ooh.
Throbbing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good hit, a good
Didn't
whack.
say anything. Just kind of sat there and breathed.
Yep.
Did the.
Yep. Didn't let it fly. Yep, I know what you mean.
You know, you're doing good when you don't throw out the F-bomb on that one.
On that one, yeah. You know you've made it.
So, how did your dad pass away?
So, he died of a heart attack. He like already had like heart issues, you know, and there was like medicine he was supposed to be taking, and my mom told me there was a point where he just like stopped taking it because of how bad it made him feel, you know. And it was like
the cholesterol medicine.
I believe so. Like he was like hot all the time and like just felt horrible. And so and then he had I believe it was a heart stent put in or something like that. And then like I may have my times mixed up. He had the heart stent put in, and I think it was like a couple months later, maybe a year later, then he was driving to go play hockey with. He was a very like active. From what I remember, he was like active, you know, he'd go play hockey and stuff like that, but he just didn't eat well and like take care of himself the way that he should have, you know. So then he's driving to go, and one morning, Saturday morning, he leaves to go play hockey with his friends. And when he's driving there, we get a voicemail from him. He sounds calm completely. He was just like, my chest is hurting pretty good, so I just pulled over to just stop because it was like I couldn't like even focus on driving. It was really painful, and he called an ambulance because it was hurting really bad. But he sounded super calm, just let us know that he loved us, stuff like that. And then that was it. So we were kind of like, I had this weird intrusive thought come in, this is weird to say on like a podcast because I've only told my mom about this, you know. But I was like, I hope he dies, you know. And I'm like, that's like a little kid intrusive thought, you know. And I'm just like, oh yeah, you know, whatever. And then like we get there, and the whole time I'm thinking, I'm sure he's gonna be fine, you know. Like we've gone to the hospital for things before. He comes out, he's okay, it's fine, you know. But just like having that weird intrusive thought like bothered me like later down the line, you know. But like we get to the hospital, and the last thing I remember seeing of my dad was them like, we look down this hallway after coming in through the front door, and I look left down this hallway, and they're rolling him on a gurney. He has his shirt off. They got like the oxygen on it, and he's like holding his chest. And he was in like you could tell he was in like a lot of pain. His face was like scrunched up, and he was like holding his chest, stuff like that. And they wheel him behind like this curtain, and my mom is like bawling her eyes out, you know. And my grandpa's like holding her by the shoulders, like trying to like console her, you know. And like then some family friends took us back to their house, and I remember like me and Chase just playing like PS2, just playing games at the house for like hours. And then my mom walks in, and I just ask her, I was like, oh, where's Dad at? And then she just starts busting. She just bawls her eyes out right there and just lets us know that he had died like that day. So it was like, that's like the memory that I have, you know? And then like in the moment, like I was crying, but I couldn't I just didn't know what was really going on, you know? Because she said he was dead. But I was like, he's not like really dead, you know? Like he's going to be home like later, you know? It's just a little kid processing.
It's weird thinking about that. It's funny 'cause I had this thought yesterday. So the guy across the street from us passed away.
Yeah.
Right? And I was talking to him like days prior to that.
Yeah.
Went over there and cut his yard because he wasn't. He was in the hospital.
Just sudden.
And then he's just not there now.
Yeah.
And for a 7-year-old to catch that, that would be hard to.
Yeah, it was weird. It was a weird thing.
Comprehend.
And I was thinking about this recently. I was like, it was just like something like, okay, I went through something at a young age that everybody's going to go through at some point. you know, like everybody's going to lose their father.
Very young.
Yeah, that's true. And that does like come into play a lot, you know, like when I'm thinking about things, because I was still like growing up, and then to lose them. And then it's like, I guess that is why I have like a lot of like, I mean, the Lord has definitely helped me with like my anxiety, like a lot, you know what I mean? But like growing up, I was constantly afraid of other men, because like the protector of the house was gone. And I was just immediately like, oh, like now that he's gone.
You're the protector?
Yeah, because everybody was telling me that. Like I was the man of the house. That's what everybody was every man was telling me that. Every man that I knew told me that. So I was like, oh, I'm the man of the house.
That's a lot to put on us in your
Yeah, I know. But like, and like thinking back on it, I was like, oh, I have to be able to kill a man with my bare hands.
Yeah.
Like those were thoughts in my head. So I was constantly like, I would, whenever my mom had to like go somewhere, I would go with her, you know, just to like be the 7-year-old, like protect, you know. It's kind of funny thinking back, because I'm like this little kid, and I'm just like,
well, no, that can
dudes,
impact you the rest of your life.
It did.
Your thought process.
Yeah.
Is that why you work out a lot?
Yeah, that's why I hit the weights quite a bit, you know. And it's like something that's like, even like my thought process is something like, okay, I mean, I feel like every man like thinks about scenarios like in their head to like, because we're made to be protectors, you know. But like mine's like hyper, you know what I mean? Like if I'm like,
no, I think me and you relate with that, because so you know my dad has you know, because we're sitting at Chili's one day and I was complaining about him in the hospital. And you said, I wish I had those problems. I appreciate you doing that though, because I was like, oh, hello, put the foot in the mouth real quick. But anyway, he had heart issues ever since, I mean, I was young. Yeah. But I think to this day he's had several stents. He's had a quadruple bypass about 22 years ago. Yeah. He has a pacemaker now, and he's still got issues. Well, I see that. It's different, but he's still alive, obviously. Yeah. But I see that, and I'm like, I want to be able to survive, right? So, like, I go to the extreme on eating and exercise and stuff, even though I don't look like Hulk Hogan with hair.
I appreciate that.
But, that impacted me, because I remember at a young age going across the bridge. Yeah. In Galveston, and he got chest started hurting. He didn't have a heart attack that I know of, but when he went in, short story, but it's kind of funny. Yeah, he went in 22 years ago to get hearing aids. Right, so at the time you had to have a referral from your primary care physician to a hearing doctor to get hearing aids. Right, so he went to the primary care physician. And they were like, well, you haven't had a physical in years. You need to get a physical. Yeah. And they did it right there. And they're like, man, you have blood pressure. He's like, yeah, my blood pressure's always been high. They said, well, we're going to do a stress test. They do a stress test. All right, we need to take you to the hospital right now. Yeah. And they took him to the hospital. This was all within like a day. Took him to the hospital. My mom's like, hey, he's having some kind of procedure, but it's not a big deal. You don't need to come in. But we go in anyway. And we're sitting there with the doctor. And they said, we need to do a quadruple bypass, this. And my mom's like, well, I need to think about this. Man, you don't understand. We don't know how he's alive right now. Yeah. And so I'm like, go ahead and do it. You know, we spoke up, and we're like, Mom, he's got to have it done. Yeah. So he comes out of anesthesia, and I ain't going to drop the F-bomb, but he's sitting there. And he goes, I've been through all this BS, except he doesn't say BS. Yeah. I still can't hear an effing thing. He's still deaf. Yeah. But seeing the stuff that he's gone through, that's what motivates me to take care of myself. Like, I want to be able to go across a bridge and not get winded. Right? Absolutely. And I guess that you were working out to be the man of the house. Yeah, that was like... Did you start that way back then, or? Not like immediately. I was just kind of like always like thinking of like... I remember there's one thing I really remember that like really sticks out in my mind. I was like, wow, like that's kind of not a normal thing for like a 7 or 8 year old to do. Like I was like terrified of the dark, and I was like, no man of the house is going to be terrified of the dark. So I sat in my room in like pitch black for like hours until I was not afraid of the dark anymore.
and I just made myself sit.
There's a lot of wisdom in that, though.
Yeah, but like I was like 7 or 8, you know, and I was like, and like looking back, I'm like, I don't know, like that's like a wild thing to like think about that, like I did that at that age, you know, but it was like out of fear that I was more afraid that my fear would be the reason that I wouldn't be able to like protect like my family, you know?
Oh, I got you.
So I was like, I need to get rid of that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I just started like, I just sat in the dark until I was just like, you know, or like even like.
I mean, that's pretty smart for a 7-year-old.
Yeah, it's pretty weird for a 7-year-old too, you know?
That's cool though. Because you learn that I probably didn't realize that until I was in my 40s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you're scared of doing something,
just
speaking in public.
Yeah, just freaking do it. You know,
like
what I mean?
when they asked me to teach the youth, I'm scared to death.
And your butt cheek starts.
Yes, yes.
On the podcast, it's recorded. Your grandchildren will know.
Yeah, that nervous twitch, my butt cheek starts going.